Hey y'all. Hey y'all. Happy Thursday. Happy September. Happy, what was it again? Second week of September already. Second week of September in 2021. Can anybody else believe that? Or is it just me just having a hard time? Anyway, I'm getting right into stuff today for real. I'm staying focused. Okay. I send my prayers over the show for God to have his way to speak to whomever needs this most, whether it be live now or for anyone that will catch the replay, even for years to come. Amen. So I ain't gonna lie. I'm refraining from saying I'm the one that needs today's show most, but because I'm going to believe that there's somebody out here struggling with the same thing as I am. So before we get into all of that, welcome back to another episode of the B Mix right here, only on BigExposedRadio.com. You already know what Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time are for, who they are for actually. The unseen, the unheard, the overlooked, the forgotten, whether it be the forgotten part of you or for the person that does not belong anywhere, me, B. So welcome. I'm gonna one day try to get a study done to figure out why it is that I do like this little giggle. I don't know. It's just because I heard it. Moving on. Sometimes I do it and I don't even hear it, but I actually just heard my little giggle that I do. And I literally cracked myself up. I'm sure that's what the results will be. Moving on. So y'all know I love to share with you our moment of a history of racial injustice. From my favorite calendar, Equal Justice Initiative. And for the month of September 9th. Pause. Happy birthday, sissy. Love her. Desiree, love her down. Okay, it's her birthday. It is her birthday. So September 9th, 1957, the year my mother was born. That's so crazy to see that written out. Here we are. Mobs of white church members led by a local minister protest the integration of white elementary schools in Nashville, Tennessee. By 19 Black 6-year-olds, the school is bombed the next morning. Ooh, child. That's a bit to chew on, right? It's a bit to chew on for a lot of reasons, especially because today we're getting into topic none other than a parent support group. So all my parents, come on over, welcome back, shout them out, bring them here, tag them, as you're tagging, liking, and sharing the show. Always feel free, of course, to comment, call in or text 443-642-9403. Again, 443-642-9403. But all of that to say is I was transitioning into the topic because it's really, I have to tell y'all about Miss Ma'am, y'all know my baby, my one and only, but my joy, like my bundle of perfection, Miss Sydney Adriana, started Big Girl School this week. Okay, so child, it was a something. And so last week, y'all know I shared with y'all a lot about what's going on, just as far as with me, like financially and just life struggles right now, like currently, and as I'm like coming out of them bit by bit, gradually. And so one of the highlights, or I ended last week's show with the highlight, as to even why I was late. Oh, excuse me, something's in my eye. Why I was late starting the show last week, because I was coming from the good things that, even though it was late, but it was for a good reason. I guess I can say that. Parents, y'all know how I feel, what I'm saying. And so we were coming from like an ice cream social, like meet and greet or whatever at her school, because it was like, okay, she's definitely starting, as of this week. And so she did. And so why this moment of our, history of racial injustice definitely hits home, because it's talking about a school and it's talking about 6-year-olds. Of course, then talking about the integration, like this is only 62, 63 years ago. Um, and no, 64. Yeah, I'm trying to think of how old my mother is. So that's what I was able to get. 60 years ago, which is not that long ago, right? So we're not far removed from whites. And I not love, but just as in, y'all know I love words. So like descriptions, I'm a visual learner, right? So I need draw me a picture, right? Help me get a picture. I don't know what's going on with my lives. They just doing what they want to do today. Okay. Y'all gonna let them do that because that's what I'm doing. And so I love at least in the description, not necessarily the act, right? And just what happened, but in the description that, it gives you enough of the fact that it's white church members, right? And I know how there has, I want to say probably always, but definitely now I've seen where people, comments, or I'm always referring to social media. We know we live in a social media world. Like there's no getting around that. There's no denying that, right? And so, oh, wait a minute. Let me see. I'm gonna try to share. I'm gonna share to show y'all. I haven't done that. I don't think I did that in a while. So hold on. I liked it. I loved it. I meant to actually just share it. Calling all parents. Okay. Okay. Sorry, y'all. Okay. So yeah. The so that there have been, I've seen like posts and things where people were trying to figure stuff out, especially around y'all's little president that had left out a little while ago, little Donald, right, little Trump, and so just about like a lot of supporters, whereas there are plenty, I'm not gonna say all, but there are plenty that identify as Christians, right? And so whereas like religion has been, that's not recent, but religion has been, questioned, especially Christianity, most certainly has always been challenged. Not to say it's the only, denomination and religion that has been challenged, but especially for, times like these, right? And so even back then where, again, it mentions because there's only, in the Christian faith really that, automatically you can assume that that's the religion denomination simply because it says church members, and then even led by a minister, and so that alone, right? So just mobs of white church members led by a local minister. Then the next thing says protest. Like wait, protest the integration. So not abiding by what who it is that we believe in, not abiding by his actual purpose over our lives, which is oneness, inclusion, togetherness, like all of those different synonyms for unity, right? And so that they were going against that, rebelling against that, thinking that they were doing something in the name of, just as, and not to really touch on this too heavily, but just as the bit that we know about as far as I think it's suicide bombers. I couldn't think of that phrase for a second. The suicide bombers who mostly, I don't know if all of them, but mostly that we know of, again, just speaking of what we know of, when we think back to 9/11, whatever you're feeling about it is, just the fact that there were, suicide bombers that in their mind, believe that who they pray to, who they praise and worship, and that they give honor for their being and their rising in the morning and being provided their needs and all that, who they pray to, they believe that that's who instructed and advised them to strap bombs to their chest and blow people up, you know what I mean, including themselves. And so we see that now with the unfortunate happenstances all over in Afghanistan. Like this is a world to be in right now. I know that seems far-fetched, but it all comes back full circle as far as just when we consider people's beliefs and people's, ideations and I guess really I want to stick with the word belief. So just the simple fact of what people believe in, who they trust, as their higher being, what they believe that their higher being is telling them, and the mere fact that they could very well be wrong, which I can say just as a firm Christ believer, that believing in the one true living God, Jesus Christ, right? That no, he ain't want these white folk um, to protest the integration, of white schools in Nashville, Tennessee, and that it would have been 19 Black 6-year-olds. So that's again why this touches, close to home, going into just our topic of the day, because here it is, you're talking about kindergartners or first graders, like, wow. Like, I mean, and the fact that not only was it not enough just to protest and seeing as though obviously, they move forward with integrating the elementary school. Like, like you ever just stop to think like how idiotic something you may wholeheartedly believe in? Does anybody, like, y'all know here, we talk a lot about self-reflection. Have you ever really caught yourself? And I mean, like it could be on a low end. I'm thinking about Gary with this, how he'd be like on the low end, on the high end, but literally on the low end or even on the high end, where you catch yourself like, that is dumb. I'm not about to do that. And that's just, I'm thinking of the many of times that I've said that or, caught myself, and it has never, and I mean ever, included, a thought to bomb an elementary school because I didn't want, people mixing. Like it has never been the killing of, this group of people because of what they look like or what they appear to be. Like, oh my Lord, like, woo, that's tough. Like that is on a whole nother level. And that is really why, and I was really not even trying to go here, but that is really why I will forever believe that, and this is a statement for the true believers. Okay, let me give that disclosure here. Okay, the disclaimer right now, and for the true believers to understand that everything is spiritual. And so if you say and believe in that, then you know that even there is, the way I would put it is that there's a spirit of racism. It's so prevalent. Like it's so, I don't even want to say dominant, but in a sense, right? Like basically because of just how strong it is just throughout and has been. It's been reigning for a while, like just reigning racism, and that does cross, lines too. I know there are the conversations out here about, Blacks can't be racist. It's only white people that are racist, but then Blacks are maybe racist to other people, whatever. Right. Because then we get into definitions of racism versus prejudice. So it's just a lot in that, but still, just the mere fact of just why people don't like even think to catch themselves. And I get that it's either whatever you are, whatever your environment is, you either, get it genetically, right? Or that you get it, whatever the it is, right? Especially if it's a bad thing, that you get it from just being within your environment. And so, essentially becoming a product of your environment. And so why it's so important to saturate the atmosphere and the environments of those that are most vulnerable and so impressionable, being our children. And so why I'm saying like today, like this parent support group, like y'all, I'm just calling all parents, and I really thought I would just call in all parents to the floor, to the front of the line, so to speak. Y'all get it? All right. Corny joke, it's fine. I can have mom jokes, okay? If dads can have dad jokes, I can definitely have mom jokes here and there. I love corny dad jokes anyways. But, just that of why it's so important. And we know this and we talk about it, but it's so very important for so many different reasons. And so some things that I want to cover tonight is just about, one, I'm getting now finally back to sharing to y'all the story of Miss Mama's, okay, start big girl school. And then to get into, just what it is that we really want to be sure that we're keeping at the forefront, what we're considering as our little people. And I'm saying little people, but that is a range from the womb, to, through post-secondary education, which, of course, includes college, universities, trade schools, getting into the work field, whatever path that your children take. And I am saying parents, definitely, but of course, in this time, of course, it always includes, guardians, whether it be legal guardians, if you claim yourself to be a guardian or, a caretaker or a mentor, or just have any type of, not any type, but any youth, any child, in your life that you have a positive influence. an impact on, then this show is for you, or it's for you to share with someone that you believe, needs to hear it, or just would even benefit from it, or just would feel, patted on the back, just for knowing that it's not just them, because this is really where even the topic came from. I told you I just get on here and share my life with y'all. And so again, with her starting school Tuesday and just so much leading up to, Tuesday coming, right? And so there are uniforms involved in there, this and that. I mean, things like we are given some at the school a while ago when everything was like good. The school, they have like where people give the uniform back and they sell it at like $5. Y'all, these jumpers and uniforms and sweaters and all that out here are not cheap, especially not directly at the uniform store. Whew. And so even the $5 was like, okay, cool. I was able to get 3 jumpers and a shirt all for $5 each. And so that was good. In her little size, and then even where she she got some room to grow into, because I don't know about nobody else. But mine, Lord have mercy, unfortunately, Ted, I have to just admit that this little rump is just, oh God, I don't understand. I don't understand why it grows right now. I don't get it. But it's grown. So keeping that in mind. So really loving the jumper, especially the jumper with a little warm, okay, because you can't see that. And so, but yeah, so like like I said, got 3 jumpers and a shirt, and y'all, okay, especially for the ones that got, mine is 4. Okay, I'm remind y'all that I have a 4-year-old. Okay, 4-year-old precious perfect bundle, or precious bundle of perfection, right? My smooch. And so, child, okay, pre-K, you definitely, I don't know when it stops, but pre-K, I don't know if it's all through elementary or what, but definitely at the age where we have to leave an entire uniform, okay, a full-blown uniform at the school. Like, oof, you mean I gotta get it? Like, it's not like, oh, y'all would give it to keep it there. No, I gotta get it for y'all. Okay. Wow. You better know her name going on all of this. Side note, I'm gonna just go ahead and tell myself now before we really get into it. Speaking of putting a name on stuff, I think I have going into it. I don't know yet, because now we're 3 days in, right? So I'm gonna give y'all the breakdown of each day thus far. But I might have, going into it again, because I think I've changed. I don't know yet. Going into it, I may or may not have been the petty parent. Like, bro, I definitely cracked open all 4 boxes of tissues to write her name all up on it. I was going to write it on both sides and the bottom and the top, so that way every little snot nose child understood, baby, Sydney Adriana gave y'all these. You're welcome. But I reeled it in, and I only wrote it on one side, but I definitely bust open all 4 boxes. I was just going to write her name on the top. No, I want you to be aware all throughout the school year, every time her box of tissues come up, it was Sydney Adriana. So understand, okay, and I'm not saying we're not bribing kids or something. I don't want nobody bribed. I don't want her to have no bribed friends. I don't want none of that, okay? I just do know that my baby she is so precious. Like, she really is. She has a lot of personality. Of course, I guess for anybody, though, of course, it's once she's comfortable, but because I know, I'm kind of jumping now, but I know they went to the playground today. She was excited to tell me about that. And so I know just in the past, like just anytime we've gone to the playground, she can, if she didn't go with me actually taking her with her cousins or, other family and other god sisters or things, then, she can just find something like she's in her own world. And even with them, actually, now I'm thinking about it, they could be playing and running and getting on everything. And she's doing her ballet dances in the corner and just in her world. And I love that. But don't y'all try my baby. Okay. Like, I love, and we embrace the word weird in this house. Like, I've had to embrace it. Just so that's why really my platform is always, speaking up for the underdog. Like, truth be told, I've been the underdog like all my life, in every corner, in every circle I can really find, like, as far as I was concerned. Now, let other people tell it, those like, oh, you're well known, or even some people try to misuse the term like popular thing. No, never been that. But, whatever the case may be. But if you really ask me, I was the underdog. So I would always like find the person like, oh, I see that person sit by themselves. Let me go to them, right? So just, so of course we carry our stuff. This is my point. We carry our stuff. And I had this conversation on the very first day that I'm getting into breaking down each day thus far. I had a conversation with another mother on the same day. She wasn't even at the school, but what it is that I dropped Sydney off to school. So I had to drop off my youngest and then have to go deal with my oldest, which was take my mom to a doctor's appointment. And I'm going to just say this because I am not too proud, to request prayers, y'all. I told y'all a while ago that my mother, was diagnosed with breast cancer for the third time. And so we're dealing with that now. And so having to literally go from being so emotional with taking my baby, to big girl school. So it was good emotions, but emotions nonetheless, to then, taking my mom to her appointment about breast cancer. It's just like, okay, whew, okay, all in a day's work. Okay. I'm sorry. I was trying to figure out where I was going with why I shared that in this moment, but I got it now. It almost left me, y'all. I'm doing better. It helps to pray over your stuff, y'all. Anything you fitting to do, say a little prayer beforehand, especially if you deal with like memory issues like moi. Okay. I definitely was like, Lord, can you keep me focused? Can you keep me keep it fluid? Like help me, right? And so I had brought that up, though, the doctor's appointment up, because I had spoke to her nurse. And so her nurse was explaining to me, she has one and only. And so her 9-year-old daughter, and she was explaining the story. And so I believe her daughter attends city schools. So she had been back. And so with Sydney, it's not, they're technically under city schools, but it's a private school. So either who, so they, like I said, they just started this week. And so her daughter, though, the nurse's daughter, she was saying that she had to run in and just to be clear, with the other teachers. And it didn't seem as though, I've heard other parents before, express this, I let parents know, the teachers know I ain't the one, I get it. I do hear that. I'm not judging that, one, because, we don't judge here. This is the least judgmental platform you can find out here, I guarantee you, because I am the least judgmental person you can ever meet in your entire life. You can tell me anything. I guarantee you. One, I'm gonna forget your stuff, but two, even in a moment, it's just okay, I heard that. That's what we're doing, then let's figure out what's good for you and let's go with that. Okay. And that should be our sentiment toward our children. Let's figure out what's good for you and let's go with that. Even if that means me as the parent, be tip of the week. Even if that means me as the parent that I need to change this thing, whether if I enjoy it, if it brings me, joy, and I'm not saying change everything, but if it is not, there's no way you should be doing something that is not for the betterment of your child. That is parenthood. Congratulations. Welcome. You have a newborn baby. You don't get to do any and everything that you want to do if it is not good for your child. So if it is good for you, right? Not good to you, not good at you, not good around you, not kind of good, not, feels good. If it is good for you, then most likely, then it is good for your child. So that's okay, right? Because they wouldn't know absolutely everything you do and all that. But just saying, okay, that's a little food for thought. Because I've been there. I've been the mother, all right, okay. Got through my whole day. The baby's down to bed. I can roll up smoke. It turned out really nice to be good for me. I never slipped as a mother. I can definitely say that. I would admit if I did, truthfully, but listen, I was definitely overall, I was not where I probably could have been here years ago. So I was stagnant. I was content, right? And so to each his own. I get it. To some people feel as though, and I'm just sticking here for a second, lingering here for a second. Some people feel as though they're more creative, when they smoke or drink or, indulge, right? And okay, if you feel as though, okay, but at some point, kind of gets old and you get over it. Just saying, just because at the end of it, it's not good for you. I get it. That was good to you. Feels good. Been there. Not speaking on anything I don't know. But especially just as a parent, because at the end of it, well, not the end of it, but beneath it all. So here you are as a parent, as a mother, father. And then under that, you're human, you're a person. And so you as building up you as a person, what are you doing? You might be, smoking or, drinking a little heavier or more heavily, simply because maybe the stresses of being a parent, right? Again, speaking from my place, right? And from my experience. So that just I've always been the person to wear a lot of, hats, a lot of people's stuff, a lot of other experiences, right? And I'm not complaining about that. I'm just, kind of making a point. But, and then so on top of that, then it's then I became a parent. It's I really got to wear this one though. This is on me all the time. See, some people's stuff you can hang up your children's stuff, you cannot. There is no hanging up, or you should not, rather. I know there are parents out here that do. I'm not speaking to those today. No. I'm speaking to the parents. Okay, parents. Hey, come here. Yep, you. Okay. And so just the fact that like when you get those stresses, then you are indulging in those vices that are not necessarily good for you. You're indulging in those to feed the stresses of, the other hats that you're wearing. So like I said, as the mother, as the father, but then it's not allowing you, it's only stopping right there. What about under here, where you are as a person? Somebody as a person needed to be feeding herself so that way I could, pick up, the heavy bag and, wear the heavy hat of being a mother, but also become the entrepreneur. Like it's so crazy to me now, right? So it's just when your eyes are open, just like, they were closed. I didn't even know my eyes were closed. That's crazy. Like, whereas I shared with y'all before that entrepreneurship was such a large word to me. Like, it was a big word. Like, I remember, especially like decades ago, it was like, I couldn't even remember. And I really want to say I'm an amazing speller. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't know what it is. My brain would just be like, oh, even if I don't know it, I can figure it out. Entrepreneurship, I could not get down. I don't know what that's about. I could spell supercalifragilisticexpialidocious before I could spell entrepreneurship. You understand me? So that's a problem. But then that was back to what I said before, everything spiritual. I swear that was a spiritual thing. There was a spiritual blockage that blocked, even my mentality to even, to wrap my head around, right, that word or that concept for myself, because it was just the word. I'm thinking like, oh, well, I just cannot remember the spell this word. And the reason why I remember that, once you usually forget something that you just couldn't always spell, unless it comes up. But the reason why I really remember for so long that I could not spell it, because I remember one of my old students, like, he had messed up so bad on spelling it. So, but I knew that was wrong. Isn't that something? I couldn't spell it right, but I knew when I saw that, I knew it was wrong. And it was like so bad. And it was like the running joke for like a little while, or whatever. But even I still couldn't correct it. And so my mind already couldn't wrap around, this concept. And then I definitely couldn't, my spirit, my spiritual appetite couldn't even fathom to even take a bite at, to nibble, definitely not to digest this concept for myself of becoming an entrepreneur, right? And just venturing, onto my own and just doing, some of the things that I am finally, like, I've been yielding to them, but like finally starting to see the fruits of, right? And so it's just crazy to me. And so when we bring that full circle, sorry, y'all, I don't know. Y'all know I have no eyelashes, so I know it ain't no eyelash that's sticking in my eye. I gotta be, yeah, I got a little, literally like a little S curve. Oops. Okay. Sorry, Jade. So does my hair. She don't play. She don't play about my hair more than I don't play about my hair. So in case she catches this, my bad. I want to just move it and then it broke off. Okay, moving on. But but yeah, like just being a parent and then understanding how vital it is and how crucially important it is to do what it is that is good for us, so that way we create these environments, just like I talk about on here, that I really work to create such an open and transparent environment where any given time I want somebody, whether if it's during the live show or even the replay, like, to comment and to, think. Definitely I want it to be thought provoking, of course. I want it to pierce the spirit and the heart, of each listener, each viewer. But really, essentially, my real goal is like, and I know that's a little further off than just people like just think, kind of digesting it for themselves and thinking about it, but get into the place of actually feeling open enough and just moved and yielding to being led to be like, you know what, I want to say my stuff too. Like, that's my whole platform for all of us, all of our kinfolk. That's always going to be it. You're going to always hear me, talk about it, but more so just walking it and working through it and living that of just talking about my stuff. Like, I just out and open. Like, it's just what I'm here to do, like, to encourage you to do the same thing. And so that being said, finally getting around to sharing to y'all. So here comes first day, right? Tuesday. Ooh, let me tell y'all, and tell y'all about my shortcomings and all. Amen. Y'all bear witness. So let's go to Monday. So let's go back. So the weekend, we know it was holiday weekend. So that was fine, right? So just knowing once Friday came, it was like, oh my goodness, we're in the weekend right before you go to school. My Lord, what are we gonna do? Honestly, it draws a blank. I don't even know what we did from day to day. And at some point, I thought I knew that, and I wouldn't be able to tell you. All I know is then here we come to Monday. I know we made our rounds, like we were able to see, some different family. Okay, right. I know on Sunday, after church, yep. So we saw her Gigi, some people that really just she really loves and really cares about. And so we saw her Gigi and Grand Mange and her Armani Bear, the Bears, we won't call ourselves. And so Sydney literally says all of their names, including the cat's name of Bear at the end of everybody's name, all in one, all one word. Anywho, so, we saw them over the weekend. That was good. I think we actually spent the night. That's what it was. Yeah, she got her hair done. Oh, yeah. There we go. Okay. Thank you, Lord. So it's coming to me. So Saturday, there was, I don't know what Friday was, but Saturday we got up. She had a hair appointment. And so she went to that. And then in the meantime, I don't know. I think I ended up getting my mom because I was doing last minute getting stuff. Oh, I was on a Lunchable. Oh, y'all, there we go. It's really coming to me now. I was on a Lunchable run, a Lunchable mission. Okay, because did y'all hear about the shortage on Lunchables? Parents, since this is the parent support group, go to Weiss Market, WEIS. People say Weiss, people say Weiss. It doesn't matter. My mother pronounces it Wise. So, but then now says she doesn't remember ever shopping there. It doesn't matter. The point is Weiss, okay? Because I thought Sam's Club was the move. I said I remember seeing, obviously, Sam's Club, so I remember seeing them come in bulk. But let me tell you how God really moves. First of all, let's go back, because y'all know last week I told y'all a lot about a house and all that. They reached out as far as my landlord, and they reached out because it was supposed to be the contractors. I guess to them now, they probably really just wouldn't care about being any inconvenience to me because I guess according to them, I'm the inconvenience now. And so they had reached out and said the contractor's coming on Saturday. I don't know if I mentioned it last week. So I think it happened Wednesday or Thursday, and let me know that Saturday morning, this past Saturday, that the contractor that had supposedly been coming to fix the basement, he's coming 9 a.m. in the morning. You need to move all the stuff. Sidebar is that with my late landlord, not back and forth, but just anytime we mentioned it, and it really ended up that it didn't happen at one time, as the old contractor he was going to use, they flaked on him and yada, yada, yada. But it was always just trying to figure hey, can you just definitely give me an advance notice to know? Because I have stuff honestly, since I've moved in, I have piles of boxes and stuff down in the basement. I probably could throw away a lot of it, but I'm sure once I get to going through it, there's some stuff I know for sure they're important papers down there though. So there's some, not everything can just go to trash. Anywho, and so what was I going to say? Oh, so it was just always about hey, give me an advance notice so that way I can, move those things, but I don't want to move it. These are stuff that's been down in the basement. So to bring them upstairs, I was always asking, it's half, I have a, it's a full basement. Can they work on half and then I move the stuff? Can we do it that way? Work with me that I live here. I think that's the part that has always the running theme of anywhere where I've lived, whether if it started off good or started off rocky, whatever, even if I loved the apartment, it was just they will forget beside my very first apartment. They forgot that people live here. It's a business for you, but you're in the business of where people live. Just if you work in human services, you have to keep in mind that, you're dealing with people's livelihood, of why if you are granting services or benefits or things like that, or support or assistance, it's because of, how people live, where they live, or what they have to eat, what they have in order to have something on their back and just shoes on their feet and things like that. You have to keep in mind the business that you're in, even when we go as far back as when I touched on church and all, it's the same thing. That's, we're about my Father's business, right? You hear that in the Bible. So it's really about the fact that, it's church business. And it's the business of saving souls. It's helping to usher souls, as in people, back to Christ. That's the whole mission and the whole goal, but where things get lost, right? and misinterpret it. And so, anyhow, so with all of that, they had told me like, yeah, he's coming. And I was like stressing over that because I'm like, man, I need to actually like clean this house, let alone, move these things by myself, from the basement upstairs. I hate to even have them upstairs, like just in the middle of the living room or the dining room. Like, I'm gonna hate this. And so hear me. Hear me clearly. What I'm not happy about is the possibility that me as a human, I wanted to text and just check on because I'm a checker owner kind of person, a check upper. Maui, you ain't got it's the cat. He's still on his stuff, child. He was in the chair for a long time before I could even get up in here to start the show. It's crazy. He would not move. But either who, so my new landlord, like he had let me know that the contractor, he said that he had been exposed, at least. So hopefully, like nothing, or that I'm sorry, that his son, and that his son is too young to like be vaccinated, but had possibly been exposed and all of that. And so just didn't want to take the risk, was going to quarantine, all that. So I appreciated that because in my mind, not to even think that of my new landlord, but still they could have been like, well, you told me, but she being inconvenient, so we're gonna go in there and do this anyway. Like it could have been any way or anything, and I'm just so grateful. And so at the surface of it was like, oh Lord, I don't have to move none of this stuff. I ain't got to worry about this house yet. Like let me get everything else together just about this girl going to school. That was the point. And so fast forward to, so got out of, that in a sense, and that Saturday, like I said, got up, hair, boom. And so I have, my mission. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna, run here and, do this, just on this mission. Like I said, trying to find Lunchables, again, thinking the same stuff was my move. And so I forgot the two things that I had done before. And then I just thought to call my mom. I remember being on the phone with her and she's like, oh, what do I need from Sam's? Well, baby, I didn't offer to buy you a thing. I sure did not. But then she was just like, it turned out to me, Mom, you need me to come get you. So I go and get my mother. And so finally, once, she gets dressed and get up and we get to Sam's, child. Now, Cindy's hairdresser was letting me know that she was just about to be finished. So, but being at Sam's, then how, like, God, like, listen, y'all can't tell me about my God because he'd be looking out for me. Small things, large things, doesn't matter. Everything about me, he cares about, even my weirdness. So even from knowing that I was not ready to have to move all this stuff about the basement, that would have just, it was already altering my mood of even being anxious about it. He said, be anxious for nothing. But there I was. So we kind of moved that, and again, hoping that nobody had COVID, but just, the fact that it was just like, okay, let's give it some time before they come in here. And so then even with being at Sam's though, thinking like, okay, I'm going to get her, some juices, like a big thing of good juices and just, snacks and just stuff, right? For lunch. That was the last thing I had to really figure out because I know I was trying to figure out this school, like there's no option. She has to bring lunch. Okay. You said pay for the school, uniform, and she got to take, so what are you getting? Okay. I digress. Parents, it's okay. Y'all can say it to me, okay? Because I'm already thinking it. Like, what are you giving her? I mean, it's the education. But I mean, a little safety. Okay, I appreciate that. Small classrooms. Hopefully, it better be the attention. Okay, because I'm getting there. I'm getting to the first day. I promise. And so, child, Sam's actually did not have Lunchables. And so, fast forward to then go backwards. But fast forward to more recently, when I was back in Sam's. I think yesterday or something, and saw that they had restocked the Lunchables, so they were completely out. I remember asking somebody that was stocking, and he was like, "Oh no, we're out. Like we are completely done with Lunchables." And so when I was just in here the other day, though, I saw them and they only had the bulk packages of like the pizza one. And first of all, I forgot how many different little Lunchables there are, and trying to figure out the reason why we even went the Lunchable route. Sydney kept saying, I want sandwich for lunch, right? Now, given parents again. It is about, we try to give them, of course, the thought or the purpose is to try to give them what works for them, what, also works for us, vice versa and all that, and just meshing all that, but also knowing our children too. Sydney is recently, will she really eat like a sandwich? Like, it's just not her thing. I forget how she used to hold, already some kids like take sandwiches apart. I get that. But she used to do something totally different. I was just like, okay, sandwich, you don't know how to navigate a sandwich. Got it. I'm still Still trying to get my baby on the concept of picking up her chicken and biting into it. Like, and it's my fault because all her life thus far, I had always like broken the meat off or something off a chicken with turkey or something, and had it cut up and like on her plate. Like she's looking like, what's this bone thing? What's this here? This you said we was having chicken. What's going on here? And so it was kind of like the same thing with sandwich. I was like, I think she was kind of saying that even though she was handling herself, like as far as camp, I know camp lunch was provided and they mostly had sandwiches. Okay, cool. But I don't know. So I just figured like us at least starting off, let's try Lunchable, right? So I got some, even like we tested out over the weekend too, I think on Monday. And it worked out fine. I even got some tester ones. Side note, parents, do you know, and it could just be me that don't know half of all of this going on. Did you know that there are Lunchables called the reloaded, something like the upgraded, that's it. Lunchable upgraded, right? This particular one that I just opened today that I actually just had for dinner. Child, so I knew what was in it, but I didn't know, like you make it. So they make their own like sandwich. It comes with the bread pre-packed, right, packaged, by itself. Then the turkey meat and cheese, cool. And with the mayonnaise, I'm not really big mayonnaise fans, but whatever. I wanted to try everything, so like just in case I end up getting this for her, we'll see. But she has to make it though. That's the only thing I don't know. So I really conclude that this is for an older child because it comes with like Pringles. That would have been fine, a good snacker. Then I love that it came with a small bottle of water, like a little bigger than the chubby one. And then like a Kool-Aid packet, like to pour in there. Like, if this ain't little Timmy, don't eat that. So I'm gonna send a sandwich, and he gotta make his own sandwich, and he gotta pour his little flavor in the water. We that type of parent, we that type of family. This is lunch, and so y'all on the field trip. Yes, it's all one word. Y'all on the field trip, and this the way his lunch gotta be. Type mom, like. I was like, okay, I'm impressed, Lunchable. It just ain't for my baby yet. That's all. And it came like 2 little chocolate kisses. It was so cute. But yeah, so just that I was saved because on Saturday when I, went to Sam's or whatever and was trying to get the Lunchables, was sad, like, oh my goodness, where am I going to go? Blah, blah, blah. But it worked out. And like I said, that's when I ended up going to Weiss, and cleaned up. I legit spent $60 on Grubstubs of Lunchables, right? And was so proud of myself that I went ahead and got candy to donate to, I don't know if they're going to call it Halloween because it is a Christian private school, but which I'm okay with. But that they, the dress up candy giveaway holiday or something, like I'm pretty sure they're going to ask that. I went ahead and got that. Like I was like, we're just going to be ahead of this ball game right now. Okay. And so just Saturday worked out. Oh, that's what it was. We had like a birthday party. We went to that. If we dropped my mom off, like Saturday was good. Then, so she, like I said, she spent some time there. Then once from the birthday party, she went to her GTs, so she could get time out, time in with them right before she started school. We spent the night. It's like we never ever can go over there and not spend the night. It just happened, but it was good. It was good family time. Sydney went to sleep. I had a good time. We played Tunk. I wanted a little month, like we played for like change, and I was winning. I was excited. I don't remember how to play anymore though. And then they did tell me that they're not going to teach me anymore, that I better know next time we play. So we're going to have to play pretty soon so that way it'll just come back to me. Moving on. And so then, got up, we went to church. And then after that, because I know my dad was like, Sundays, daddy goes to Walmart. Okay, that's his thing. That's just been his thing for a long time now. And he'd be like, what you need? What's on your Walmart list this week and all that? Just whatever. And so we all went though. It was just, a deal. And so just trying to find, so last minute, this is where I get to really saying, like admitting my shortcomings. Y'all, all this time, and I mean all, like months, have I had this baby's supply list. We have had everything. I've had this big old Big Lots bag full of everything that I have been collecting and had for her for months. Okay, even before everything got crazy and, just rough and tough, right? It was an oversight on my part. And so even when it got to a month out from her starting the school and I didn't even know if she could go because of, finances and this and that, I have looked at the supply list 100 trillion times. I'm telling you, right? long story short, the weekend before she's supposed to start, I realized that it asked for, and her list was so specific. Like it was some things, it's just like, yeah, oh my, is this private school? Come on, like chill out. And so like I remember back a while ago, the issue was I couldn't find the jumbo crayons in 12 count because that was what it needed, 12 count. You could find 8 count, you can find 10 count, you can find 16 count and 24 and 32 and so forth and so on. There is no 12, okay? That's what they wanted. She got 16. I sent 2 packs of 16. Moving on. And so my oversight though that I did for the list was that it requested 2 primary composition notebooks to my preschool, pre-K, kindergarten, maybe first grade, I'm not sure, at least up until then. Parents, oh my Lord. Oh my Lord. Y'all, that's a big deal. That's a big difference. She been had 2 composition notebooks. That was no problem. No. All wrong. And the primary composition notebooks are harder. And they're the ones that have the half and half. So the top, y'all remember way back, we had the paper, like it was the brownish, thin, what it feel like? I don't know, silk wrapping, sand, lunchbox paper. I don't know. I don't know how to describe what this paper felt like, but we had that, right? It was usually long, and sometimes now I'm learning they probably cut it in half, folded it or whatever, or you could draw your picture up top and write about it at the bottom. Well, now they have, I don't know if it's a new thing, but to me, it's new to me, is what I'm here to admit. So again, another B tip of the week, parents, no matter what grade your child is in, I don't even care if it's post-secondary education, if it's college, trade school, if they enter into the work field, whatever, or if it's, preschool, if they're still in the womb. If it is something that is new to you, baby, that is okay. I had to say it with the claps, okay? That is okay. And I say that because anytime in my past where I have worked with youth and have just tried to help youth with dealing with, y'all, do I have a buggy? All right. Are we that close yet, y'all? Can I ask y'all that? All right. So I thought I felt a buggy and I thought I saw it too, but moving on. Y'all know I'm a boogie plucker, so calm down. I wash my hands often though, so chill out. Don't try to judge me. Don't do that. Don't try to say, ew, she nasty. But y'all, what would help, when I would connect with my youth and help them, especially lastly, when I was dealing with high schoolers, right? And so, you have them, because my mother, and knowing, y'all know what I didn't share, it's sometimes like having like issues and just turmoil with parents and just relatives and, people close to you and things like that. Understanding, the seriousness of it and the impact on it, sure, but then also just trying to connect with them to understand some of the things, we're wearing and we see, because we can't see where they're coming from type ordeal, right? And so to help them, I'd be like, because they were the ones who like, because I think I would say like, I would start off by like, well, this is, if it's I'm thinking of a particular daughter, and mother scenario, and I'm even thinking, I'm thinking of a couple of them now, a father and son, Lord have mercy, moving on. But just from the youth to their parent, just be like, well, I'm not their only child, I'm the second oldest or the whatever, wherever they fall in line. And what I would try to get them to understand and what would eventually, you can, when you really connect with someone, parents, oh my goodness, hear me. When you connect with someone and really like to know your child, so that's step 1. Huge B tip of the week. Get to know your child, not get to know the person who is your child. That's the real B tip of the week. Don't get to know your child because you then will only see them as your child, but get to know them as a person whom also is your child. Right. That's important. And so just when you get to know someone, when we know that everything's about like relationship, right? And so just as you build bonds and connections and all, when you can see the difference in somebody's eyes of just that you can, sometimes I joke, I'd be like, either if you see somebody storming into a room and you can tell that they're upset and I'd be like, oh, I can see your thoughts scroll across your forehead. What's going on? Or just when you see how like an educator to their, to their students would say like they saw the light, the light bulb go off when they learned something new. Like it's that thing, right? And I've seen it over and over and over again in different times, different scenarios, different settings, different lessons, and where like it would connect for them because I would get them to understand that even if your parent, okay, as I said, I would, your mom, follow me for this example. Your mom is, 46. Okay, cool. And you're saying that, you have an older sister and you are now, her second daughter or third daughter, whatever. This is still your mother's. This is back to the point of that it's okay, parents, for something to be new to you. And just leave it there. As general as that statement is, it is okay for something to be new to you. I don't care how many children you have. I don't care how many times you've been through this. If you were the oldest, and that, you helped to raise your nieces and nephews, your siblings, or if you had nieces and nephews or cousin, whatever, right? It does not matter. If something is new to you right now as a parent, it is okay. Deal with that, handle that, right? Don't go off of, I should know this, or even hearing somebody, you should know how to do this. That's crazy. You got 16 kids, like this your 18th one. How, like, whatever, right? That it would help, and I would see the light bulb go off for the youth that they would understand, like, your mother's 46. Okay, this is her first time being 46 and having you as her 16-year-old. When she had, your sister that's 4 years older than you, she was 40 with a 16-year-old, or, whatever. Like, it's the first time of her having the second child in this high school at this, in this year. Like, cut her some slack. Like, she's learning, she's trying to figure out, so it was getting my students and youth to understand that it was also, first times and new things for their parents to learn, because we know as we were growing up that the adults in our lives, we expected them to know everything because of the disconnect. So remember, was it last week or the week before, where I talked about the fact of, I think it was the week before, and it was divorcing the idea of being so hard on yourself, right? But more so because of the fact that as children, we gave ourselves timelines well before we even knew how it was to be an adult. We're still learning how it is to be an adult. So as children, we set up timelines. I should be married by 25. I should, graduated on time. I should have went to college. I should have done this. I should have been my career. I should have, I should have been the one to create Fashion Nova. I don't know, just whatever, right? At 8, at 6, at 14, I was still a child, right? And so we were giving ourselves all these benchmarks and timelines and deadlines, and and so we're looking at this checklist like, oh Jesus. Can you imagine? Think of dissect in your spare time when you do some self-reflection. Don't even worry about everything that I'm saying, right? I feel like this will come after you do this exercise. Help me. All right. Help yourself, help me, help us, help your children, to do an exercise where you self-reflect and literally only hone in on the worst job you have ever had and why. Think of all the different reasons why it was bad. I am pretty sure that there's a correlation between the worst job that you've had and the mere fact that it included, and it may not have been the only reason, but that it included issues with administration or management, right? And so when you talk about issues of management, that can be a whole different, all a range. And so I'm pretty sure it includes of some disconnect, a feeling like the management did not connect with their not constituents, the subordinates, right? And so to understand, to understand where the subordinates come from, why the subordinates may have had that there actually, was some issues, why and where and all of that, and how, how to address it, what to look forward to, and coming to a resolve and things like that. So the same thing as far as even for your children, and understanding that, you back to seeing them as, learning them as the people that they are as your children, not just seeing them as your children, because unfortunately there's a complex that comes over us as a parent that you have to constantly suppress. There's some parents out here that are not trying to suppress the fact that I own you. Come on now, Black parents. How many times we've heard it a million times, right, from Black parents. And we talk about, I've even joked like, yep, I waited all my life to be able to say, brush in this world ticket. Like, and then once I actually became a parent, like literally knowing that I was with child, I immediately never wanted to say those words. Like, I never want to say I brought you in this world, I'll take you out. I never want to have to say those words, not even really in joking form. Like, I just don't want to have to say that. I don't want to feed that into my child or to my future children. Like, I don't want to. I don't yearn to. I don't look forward to it. If I ever did say it, I'm sure I would regret it. I would want to apologize. I would want to ease that over, even if they don't take it that way. I'm sorry, I'm actually looking at some piece of lint that's on my shirt. So I see how I be talking good and be distracted by something dumb. But I never wanted to say that. And I still don't. There, different things like I joke about, like, didn't we have children do the dishes? Like, no, technically, they're people. Like, they need rest time too. Oh my goodness, y'all, where did I just see? I think it's Tennessee. I could be incorrect, but I just reposted something on my story where I saw that I think it was in Tennessee, Texas. I don't know what's like going on in Texas. We ain't touching on that. Mind your own uterus in Texas here. Shout out to Andrea Jones. Mind your own uterus in Texas. Amen. Let it brew up there and let that just spill over. So, but yeah, so I think it was in Tennessee, either way, where somewhere recently there's a school district that grants students, I think, up to like 4 days of like mental health days. Thank you. Now, here's the thing. This is why I thought to bring this up today, or why I'm glad that God just even brought that to my recollection just now, because what if, so again, I am talking to Black parents, but I'm really just talking to parents in general, because it usually is, us that'll be like, you ain't stay home for what? I didn't. We're living in the generation. It sickens me. And I've probably jokingly said it in my past life, right? Of, oh, wow, that's crazy. They get out of school for, high winds and we had to walk. Sure. But don't you want better? Isn't that the point? So that's why I said, be careful of even the jokes, even if you're just saying it to join in on the jokes on social media, right? You see somebody that posted it, you're laughing at it, or you chime in to be like, yeah, that's crazy. That's what it is. The post is going around now, like they getting out for wins, but here was the DC sniper and we had to run in a zigzag. Hella funny. I ain't gonna lie. Laughed. Definitely laughed. Trying to suppress laughing, but not lie. I lost. But like I would still, you're absolutely right. Build character, got it. It also built trauma that a lot of us still are not addressing. Has anybody, here's a check, any of us that are, and I'm proud of us, don't get me wrong, I am very proud that we are in therapy. All of those of us that are, actively participating in therapy regularly, I'm very proud of us. However, I'll just ask this, I'll pose this question. In your therapy session, have you ever brought up living through the time of the DC snipers? For those of us that, experienced that. Okay. Have you ever brought up, just stick with me, okay? Have you ever brought up dealing with when a lot of us, like in this generation, we were like in middle school, maybe early high school, but middle school or just whatever, wherever you were in your matriculation, right? Your educational matriculation of when the last time the cicadas came. A lot of us have experienced, and it was clear that we're experiencing PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, an actual disorder that is the exact same title, maybe not the exact same cause, but the exact same title and diagnoses of someone that fought in a war, off of the soil in which they, are citizens of. Fought in war, in battle, guns going off, bombs going off, seeing and watching their friends and people die day in and day out. That is the exact same diagnosis as someone like that. We're saying that those of us that lived through cicadas flying around, I can never get, I'm trying to say can never, but I have yet. There we go. To get out of my mind the vivid picture and the reenactment of the last time I speak about me. Like I was in middle school. I don't know. I think it was 6th, 7th grade. Not sure. And I had a side ponytail, and the cicada was in my ear, like it got in my ponytail, and like see me thinking about it is giving me the heebie-jeebies. That's PTSD ladies and gentlemen? Have you brought it up? I'm asking that because I realize that I have not. And I'm asking really because I know that it was something a lot of us talked about, a lot of us were living through when they were here over the summer, even just the stress of us preparing for it. I remember it really got to a point where I couldn't even engage in conversations too long when they were talking about it, like, yeah, they're coming. And I would get like the heebie-jeebies, the same heebie-jeebies I just got, just even recalling that. Like, a part of me really wants to sit here and hold my right ear. I'm laughing at myself, not you, I promise. But yet all these years that I've ever, sought after, therapy or counseling, I've never once mentioned that, ever. Even reliving it now, have I thought to be like, hey, girl, Stephanie, let me tell you, girl, them caters now? No, never thought to bring it up. So here it is, things that we are trying to build up these vulnerable and impressionable little people, right? And little, y'all know, I'm Aunt Nene, right? For all the babies, I'm Aunt Nene. And so Aunt Nene, to everybody's the babies, the fur babies, the 18-year-olds, the 20-somethings, I don't care. I call grown people my babies. So, when I say little people, wherever that, relates to you as far as your child and your children. And so here it is, that because they're impressionable, don't get me wrong. We might have to break down the different groupings of children. And I don't even really like to group them. I know we'll say like teenagers and the preteens and then the adolescents. Sure, I get that. That's as far as like research purposes and to be able to, unfortunately, if you are applying for, some assistance or just anything, you're whatever, you have to categorize. But for your children, you should not be categorizing. You should not be. It should be John, Jacob, Hingleheimer, and Smith. Like, just not, yes, these are my children, John, Jacob, Shinglesheimer, and Smith. Like, there no grouping. They are individuals. Think about of the dynamic of what gets me and why my brain goes here a lot, especially lately. It goes here often of thinking about how I'm the baby, right? Of my siblings. So I'm the baby of 6, right? And yet I have now given birth to, because my plan is, in future time with my husband, there he is, I love you. But to have more children, right? And so Sydney would then be the oldest, right? So I am the baby that has now given birth to the oldest. Then I will give birth to a, middle child, to another baby, like whatever. I guess I just said I'm having 2 more kids. I don't know. I had always said, like, I thought my compromise was 4, but it depends. My husband come along, we'll talk about it. I really, truthfully would like 2 boys and another girl. But it might just be another boy. I don't know. I don't really just see just 2 children, though. And then 3 is a cute number, but I like 4. We'll talk about it, though. We can figure things out. But, just that. So then there are, middle children, and we know that's a whole actual diagnosis and syndrome, right? There are middle children out here giving birth to oldest, children and young and more middle children and youngest and just different, whatever's like. And then you think of just that here's I'm the baby. And then who am I going to marry? The oldest? The youngest, the middle child, oh my Lord, that those dynamics. And not that we have to wear these tags and titles so heavily, but we have to be considerate of them. Just as so much so as that we have to be considerate of our children, of these impressionable, vulnerable people, human beings. I'd be daggone if we continue on with the idea and the concept of that they are not people. That it makes me think of not Miranda, Matilda, right? And so remember when the dad is going in on her, like, I'm big, you're small, I'm right, you're wrong. Like, bruh, it's literally still some of us out here operating like that. And we don't know it because we're operating from where we came from. Remember earlier we were talking about environment? And so genetically, right, a lot of us, just have it in us that there are, mental health, a lot unaddressed because we're talking about our generation before us. Just, mental health issues that we are carrying that we might have in us genetically somewhere, right? And so shout out to, because it really makes me think of the appointment that I was with my mom. And y'all, side note, it just came to me. I do know that I haven't even gotten to like the breakdown of her days, and that's probably how I'm going to end this. But because I really wanted to share with y'all. But just at some point, bruh, especially my brown and black folk, get out here and get your genetic test. It's called genetic counseling, genetic testing done. Take care of that. It came up because of, again, just with my mother's, health right now, or current health challenge, right? And amidst so many other, right? She's literally a walking medical book, and I'm reminded of that going to that appointment. And just always knowing that ever maybe in school or something, but refer to my mom, but especially while I was pregnant, just different appointments and just where you have to talk about your medical history. I remember going to genetic counseling, and that was the only appointment that Sydney's father went with me because I just had to tell him, like, you have to go there. Like, I don't know your parents' stuff. Come to find out, when we get there, he didn't know his parents' stuff either. I was able to spit my mother and father's stuff out. Couldn't go too far back on my father's side, but I could definitely tell them about, history, my mother's side and all. And he was damn near making up their ages. Like, he didn't know anything. So that already is a disadvantage. I would not want to do that, even with the fact that I'm still trying to cultivate and create and establish and maintain like a relationship. And I know I told you a while ago, like I'm still chewing on the idea of my old therapist that had said that that her relationship with her father is not my responsibility. See, I have to make a face every time I say it because I'm trying to digest it. But either who, that, I still would not want her to, be at a disadvantage, because even, when she has an amazing stepfather that I'm hopeful, but even believing that is going to happen, right? So when she goes to have children in, like 90 years, and then when, she's able to date, and she can't date until she's married. So that can't happen in like 95 years. So anyway, but then you can think about children even after that. But so roughly about 100, because she's 4 now. So whatever. But she, I don't want her, repeating the same thing like him, because unfortunately, she won't be able to speak to her stepfather, who will be, socially, physically, mentally, emotionally, but, unfortunately, biologically, genetically, she would have to speak to her dad, and, the history and, health history and all that. And so, it's important, y'all, to know our stuff. We out here talking about socially of just, learning, who our ancestors are and this and that. But I mean, biologically, when has anyone ever? And truthfully, I had only went one because I was pregnant. Was it before? I think I might have even had it twice now. I don't know if it's the same time, but I'm looking literally in my brain. I'm visualizing when I was sitting at the table and the lady was saying, but I really think it was a health scare that I had. I've had a couple of like 2 breast cancer scares, right? That I, thought they found, so it was crazy. And like both times when I say that I really know God to be, like it was the story of like, there's nothing to be found now. So no, it's nothing. And it's definitely not cancer. Like it's nothing. And so anyhow, just going and being asked, because there's a heavy history, in the past, on my mother's side of like breast cancer, right? And so them asking like, oh, has your mother ever done like genetic cancer? It's like, no. And I remember bringing it up to her, and I remember she denied it, like, no, declined rather. And so, but that was, I'm sure it's because she didn't know the significance of it. And so now hopefully, with them bringing it up, at least at that appointment, I was just with her, and then, maybe she'll consider doing it just to try to rule out some things, just try to figure out, mutations and this and that. Like it's a pretty intricate process and kind of cool. Like, I don't know, I'm a nerd and I geek too. So it was intriguing. Like, wow, y'all can go through and wow. That's crazy. So y'all just be looking at stuff and then finding stuff and knowing stuff and learning stuff. That's amazing. So, that's something for all of us to consider, and there are so many different levels and layers of parenthood, and just trying to, it's not just, oh, I'm trying to build generational wealth. Cool. But if you die off before you can appreciate it, because you didn't go and find out anything that you have in your bloodstream that you pass on to your children, and then they're dying off, early too, generational wealth where? Because the wealth ain't just the riches. Again, it's called generational wealth. So let's probably add that. Okay, can we? I love adding to, some of these cliches and phrases that we continue, colloquialisms that we keep using. So can we add to it and say that let's build generational health and wealth? right? And that's on me too. I've said that since you've gotten back in school, I totally have no excuse, which all this week, hopefully tomorrow will be the first day, that was the last day of the week, but the first day of me actually getting back to doing my miles and stuff around, the track. Like, just got to. In my brain, it's like, yeah, I'm saying this to y'all now, and I've been thinking it and wanting it and all, but yeah, sure, I could be like, dang, I'm not even at a place where I could slip into a wedding dress if my husband just pop up tomorrow and be like, what you trying to do? Like, the court's still open, like, let's go foul, and then boom, right? But outside of that, am I healthy? And like, I know that I am healthy, so that's a good thing. I have a clean bill of health, but am I at my healthiest is the point. Am I at my healthiest place in life, to bear more children and to be here and to be that active mom that I want to be, so it's building and cultivating this environment for them. Like, are your children going to look back? I'm even thinking about how, like, I'm hoping that it's okay now, as I know that last week of just me being in a place of just really hoping and kind of worried. And you cannot pray and believe in God and worry. So I was doing both, and that's why I was sick about it. That I wasn't in a place of like where I wanted to have like the most fun and like, oh, this is our last school raw. Like I was dealing with a lot of like taking care of a lot of business, applying to this and calling this place back and all that, like every day last week, literally. And so, just trying to have that fun and make sure that she has one. So I know, like, I kind of left her to be like, just watch her TV and come around, I feed her, and then we play a little bit, but right. Then I'm tired, just a lot. So, I know that I don't want to be. And so even now that we're in school now, I kind of, because I took a little nap like today, just knowing I had those long stretches, like I'm getting up, I was on a move today, like long stretch, and I had to do the show. So just a lot, right? And so wanting to be more of an active parent and knowing that I have not been the most active, with her. And yet still seeing that at least at some point, I was, because if she can seek it, meaning that it's not that she's asking for it because it's never been, but because it has been, it's slowed down a little bit recently, and that, but then it's like a part of her being able to tell the difference. But I'm here to tell you, as a part of our parent support group, it's still also to take your break and your much needed and deserved time away from these babies. If it's just in your room for a minute, if it is, that they're in their room and you're away, or just getting somebody to watch, like whatever it takes, right? Just, I get it. Breathe. Actually, the way I just exhaled, breathe. All parents, just, how did that feel? Can we do that like 2 more times? We're going to breathe in 5, hold 5, and release 5. Is that okay? 5, 5, and 5. Number of grace and favor, okay? All of it. So, is that good? I did count a little fast. I ain't gonna lie, because I wasn't sure. Told you I ain't been running, so I didn't want to get the coughing and hackling all over y'all. Okay, sorry. One more time. I'm gonna try to count a little slower. There we go. Okay. I hope you feel better. I do. I hope that you release some things. I hope that you breathe a few more times. Okay. Tonight, intentionally, because you're breathing now. So that's a good thing. You're still here. I mean, you're still here to do something. You're still here to be for these babies. You're still here to just with purpose in mind, right? With intent. And so, but when you intentionally have these breaths of release, so that's your homework, that's your other B tip of the week. To my parents, breaths of, what did I just say? Lord, I done lost it. I'm sorry. I'm giving y'all homework and I forgot. What did I just say? Breaths of release. There we go. So go back like I was serious. Your other B tip of the week, your homework for the night, is breaths of release. Okay? Release that up off of you. The heavy burden, the weight of, parenting in this day and age. Come on. I don't care if you had, especially for people that just having children right now, or just wherever you are. Remember, whatever's new to you is totally fine for it to be, because y'all know it's my favorite thing. And that's okay. Okay. It really is. Everything and where it is and how it is right now is okay. Because you need to acknowledge that. If you're acknowledging that and you tell yourself that it's okay, that just acknowledge it and saying that it's okay. Doesn't mean that it can't be better, but it at least is a good start for you to then work toward it being better, right? To play your part in allowing, the God above to do what it is that he had in mind. But as you have your breaths of release, later on, then breathe with, things that you are releasing. Like if all this week has been a week from hell, or all this week has been overly exciting, because sometimes excitement can be overwhelming. New, change, whatever, questions, homework, I don't know, uniforms, the baby that grew out his shoes already. Whatever the case may be, breathe those breaths of release with those things in mind. So you are doing intentional breathing tonight. And even if, you forget all about it, hopefully it comes right to your mind. I pray, that's actually my prayer for you all, us all tonight, is that it comes back to you as you are just, once you are lying down to go to bed, and that just slips you into a peaceful rest for the evening. And then you wake up refreshed in the morning, right? And so in the last 10 minutes before we get out of here, y'all, I'd been saying it the whole show. I was going to share so the first day, right? So like I said, the back to it, that the weekend, was fine. Okay, cool. So Sunday, like I said, it was Walmart. I didn't realize it didn't have the book. So now I literally made it. My dad gave me money to do a Walmart order while we're at Walmart, because she needed, oh God, it was just last minute stuff, like the sweatshirt and sweatpants that she needed for when it gets cold for gym class. The knee length khaki shorts that she needed for gym class now. It just, oh Lord, it was just stuff. So I was ready, I had a whole lot ready, and still not everything at the same time. So again, parents, it's okay. You're not going to have everything, baby. It's all right. It's okay. It happens to the best of us. And imagine what the worst of us, are going through. So we're in the middle, you're doing okay, right? And so, sorry, y'all, I don't know what's going on. To my parents, my back hurts, y'all. Oh, mercy. But yeah, so then, Monday was just, okay, we are in here. And I thought I had to plan, I was like, dang, maybe we can go to see the Paw Patrol movie, literally the couple dollars that were left over from just getting everything. Like once my dad gave me everything, I was like, okay, we got everything, but it was just smart, not to, especially when I have to use gas. And for my people in Baltimore, baby, I live over west and her school is all over east. Okay. So that back twice a day, that's gonna add up, but that's all right. Right? It's investment. And so, but we got to Tuesday. No, we're at Monday night. So I don't know what my excitement, there we go. It's coming back to me now. So I was about to say, I don't know what kept me up. My excitement kept me up. I know she still went to bed late. So we had tested out the schedule. The schedule was definitely great back at camp days. So these past, 3 weeks or so that she's been out of camp, 3 weeks is enough time to break a habit and build a habit. So yeah, we can attest to both sides. And so it was just getting her, and she can be a night owl. Anybody that knows her when she was much younger, Lord have mercy, it was in her blood on her daddy's side. They either vampires or hibernate. I've told you that before. But decreeing that off of her now. But yeah, so I know she stayed up longer than she probably should have. I'm sure when she was definitely asleep, I was up until I think I came in the house at 1 a.m. I took the recycling out. I clipped my hedges because I definitely had the money to pay for them to get the grass cut. But so my hedges definitely have this bush. It's so pretty. Y'all actually see it, my promo videos on. That's where I've been taking them, because it literally is to me, the actual grass wall. A lot of y'all have for decorations, but it was wow. It was just, oh God, it was so wild. We were literally fighting through stuff, walking through. So I have these small clippers. They're looking at try to use scissors, but I had bought those a minute ago and just never used them. Popped them open, was out there doing that in the middle of the night. After I had already told myself, go to bed. Make sure you get some rest as you want to get up, get her there. Baby, when I tell you, gets my baby up in the morning. We get there. That's not a problem. She's excited. Okay. We get in the line, she gets her temperature taken. And so I'm getting in line to go into the office, to buy her gym class, to make her payment for the week, and to buy her gym shirts. And so then it's like, so they have like teacher, like we met her teacher, that was fine, she was our classroom. Then they have other teachers that come as aides to, escort the children, to the classroom, because it was clear, like they at least emailed us and gave us a heads up that we would not be able to go to the classroom or stay for the day. That was the thing. Like, whew, so I was thinking I was mentally prepared. I will admit that I was not prepared for the emotions that I had for the first day of school. Mind you, I kept in mind that she has been to 2 different schools before. One, her very first school was when we lived off like St. Paul Street in our last apartment for this house, so 3 years ago. And so she was going there. It was her very first school. We're excited about that. And I've always called it school. So we started early. Nobody else at her age was going. Oh, that we knew, that was going to school at her age at 1, right? She wasn't even 2. And so then when we moved here, though, like across, the city, it was like, okay, we got to find another one. So I did find one that was close. She had been there for a little bit, and that was up into the pandemic, though. So now the pandemic kind of bringing that to a halt. It was like, oh, man, we've been out of school for a little while. So that's why I was considered like, okay, camp would be a good, just a good way to get us back into the habit, just whatever. And we both did okay with transition and adapting to camp. So I don't know what it is that set it for this day. I don't know if it was like, okay, this is the official first day of your educational career. Like, yikes, like it's happening. Because she was even supposed, this particular school she's at now, she was supposed to have 3-year-old class too. She was supposed to start last year, but COVID. It's the story is, part of every story these days. And so we get there, that honey, they come to take her, and it was like, oh, okay. I mean, I was not okay, like bawling, like straight. Well, still in this line, and what a parent that was at the front of the line that could see, like as she organized, I hugged her and all that, gave her a back, like just. Ooh, that parent that was in the front, she told me, "Oh, she's okay. She didn't even turn around. Oh, like just a mess." I'm trying to clear my throat, right? And I'm all still behind the mask though. So I get into the office, it's my turn. I'm trying to talk. Child, what really took me over edge was, made the payment that I had to scoot over, talk to the secretary, and I borrow her about to buy the, get my receipt, buy the shirts. And then I asked to borrow her marker because I packed up her little box, or, you have to supply a clear shoe box with a lid. To pack her like I said, the outfit that has to stay there, including the gym uniform too. So the only thing I need to go in there was her shirt. I left a nice little spot. I'm the person I like to fold and just I'm really good at making stuff fit, like organize. I'm good at that. Don't worry about my house right now. Moving on, mind your business. So I'd ask like, oh, can I run this through her classroom to put in her box? Child, I'm so glad that this was an interaction between the new me and the secretary and not the old me. Because I feel like just being triggered and hurt, I would have wanted to cuss her up one side down the other. I would have. I was so brokenhearted because she definitely just answered, "No, you may not." What you mean? All right. What you mean? No, I may not. Like, what do you? Okay. I had to just, so I left the shirt with her. I leave out with the other one in my receipt, and I'm in the car, but like, just could not, like, I had to call my mama to talk me down. Okay, I was low. You hear me? Like, I had to call her and just like, she was talking to. I think I tried to call 2 different people before, and they didn't answer. So I was like, oh, that's what I get. I need to, pray about it, Lord. I'm trying to give it to you, but I really need somebody right now. Like, help me. Call my mama, and she's talking me down and talking me through it. Like, I was well. Then she looked at the time because remember I had to take her to her doctor's appointment. And look at the time, y'all. It was like 2 hours after I dropped her off. I was there just sitting in a parking lot. I realized definitely that I needed to go once I saw an officer pull up in a car, and I'm thinking, I try to tell myself, at least, Benir, he could be dropping his kid off. When I see him get no kid out the car, I have, officers, everything okay? Is something wrong? He like shook his head. Oh, okay. All right, it's time for me to go now. It's time for me to get in the car because I was gonna sit there all day. That's the thing. When the window, I could sneak and, tap bad again. I just want to sit down. The first day was about me. Is how I feel. Not about her. It was about me. Let me have this. They took it away from me. Like, let me have this. Y'all get to my mama's house. I think I ate. I don't know. I can't remember. And next thing I know, I was on Facebook, stalking the teacher's Facebook account. Got as far as like her mother-in-law's page. I did that. Second day, yesterday, Wednesday, was Sydney's tough day, but also to get home from the first day, the schedule, I screamed when I got to her and pick her up. But we get home, I think all my adrenaline ran out, so I passed out when we got home. Like, she was up, I think she took a whole nap too in between there. It was up way too late. So I know that it had to contribute to the second day yesterday, that was her rough drop-off day. She cried. I'm glad it wasn't on my same very emotional day, because that would not have worked. She would have went home with me. And then today, third day, it was a good drop-off day for the both of us. So we are making it. Who knows, what fourth day will be tomorrow, but we're getting there, because I don't know. Sister told me, like, she was like, oh, this was cute that one day it happened, but I do this every day. Like, all right now. Like, yesterday was not, but we're working on it. So what I do know is that she loves her teacher. I love that. That's a new thing. Like, she loves her teacher. She just asked about her teacher, and then she's boohoo crying. But I realized it was because her teacher isn't who comes and gets her from me. It's, other people. So I don't know if it was while she was still upset, it was a male that was trying to, take her back. But then by the time she was calmed down, there was a woman. So I don't know if that helped too, but just whatever. But she got to the classroom and realized, and I love, shout out to Class Dojo, that you can communicate with the teacher. So here I am, y'all. It's happening. It's happening. So to everyone, bid thee peace, okay, and an amazing school year. It's going to be that way, okay? I'm receiving that and believing that for all of us, okay? Is that all right? Y'all got it? Y'all good? All right. Until next time, peace.